Welcome back to another episode of the NFL Draft Bible Play Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. Follow on Twitter at NFL Draft Bible. We're off of a week from the Shrine game, fresh off of a week down in St. Pete, Florida. We got Joe Everett covering the Senior Bowl now in Mobile. So, you want to log on to NFLDraftBible.com for all that content and more, including these interviews. And tonight I'm joined by one of the more under-the-radar prospects that we've been able to chat with thus far. And he's coming off of a good week down at the Dream Bowl out in Virginia Beach, I believe, to be exact. And he's the running back out of Morningside College, Bubba Jenkins. And Bubba, we really appreciate you taking some time to chat this evening. How's everything going, man?
Everything's good. I appreciate you. Everything's cool, coming off the Dream Bowl. Now I'm just in training, getting ready for pro days and hopefully the NFL Combine.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, this whole draft process has just started for a lot of prospects, but your season's been over for a little bit now. And just to give our listeners a little bit of an overview of your past, Bubba, I mean, you started your collegiate career in the Division II ranks at Southwest Baptist University, where you ran for over 3,200 yards and 40 touchdowns. You were an All-American on a winning team, and then this past season you finished your collegiate career at Morningside College in the NAIA ranks, where you ran for a career high, get this, 2,160 yards and 28 touchdowns. I mean, if you could put into words, how would you describe the success that you've been able to have over the past 4 years, and what would you attribute all the success to?
Well, first of all the success goes to, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I wouldn't have done anything without him. Second of all, just, my parents, being there for me, and then, third of all, just the hard work that I put in. I really think, this has been such a successful college career that I've, put up, and hopefully, the NFL scouts and maybe even the Canadian scouts, they think the same, that, I have what it takes to be on the NFL roster.
And get this, I mean, you were able to run for over 100 yards in 12 of the 14 games that you played in this past year at Morningside College. Even though you only played one season with the Mustangs, Bubba, you're already fifth on their all-time rushing list. Again, over 2,100 yards, 28 touchdowns in just this one senior season of yours. But talk about the other intangibles that you bring to the table. I mean, I know that you view yourself as an every down back. Explain to the people why.
Well, I mean, every down back, I would considerably, I can catch the ball, on third down, out of the backfield. I can go through the tackles, run through the tackles, and I can even, do the outside runs. I really think I can do it all, and not only, offense, being on offense and being a running back, but as well as, being on kickoff return or being a special teams player. So.
And if you could give yourself a brief scouting report, Bubba, I mean, what would you say is the biggest strength? What do you think is the biggest, the best part of your game that you could bring to a team? And what's one thing you feel that you could still improve
on? Biggest strength, biggest strength would be, actually strength. I'm a pretty strong back, and I really believe that strength, comes with, my speed, how fast I can run. And, another strength that I have that I'm really proud of myself for is, the vision and the patience that I have. I really can see holes, at a fast time, at a quick response. So, that being said, my weakness, I would have to say, coming through the open field, my fundamentals coming over the open field, having the ball in the correct hand, and everything like that. And that's, I believe, that's just, running back coaching and everything like that. At Morningside, I didn't even have a running back coach. We would just go to the corner, we teach ourselves, what drills should we do. So I didn't even have a running back coach at Southwest Baptist, that was 3 years straight. And at Morningside, we didn't really, So I think once I get on the team, all my weaknesses, will just be away and just be something in the past.
And we've chatted about a week or two ago, Bubba, and that right there is amazing. I mean, you have not had a running back coach. I mean, you're kind of like a ball of clay, and when a running backs coach gets their hands on you, I mean, again, you have the physical ability and the tape. I mean, it truly does. You prove it. It proves itself that you are a ball player, and again, I'm sure when a running backs coach gets their hands on you and turns you into the kind of back they want you to be, I'm sure they're going to have a lot of fun with you and probably see a lot of success in your game. Talking opponents, though, Bubba, coming from a smaller school, whether it's the Division II ranks or the NAIA ranks, now at Morningside College, who do you think is the best player that you've played against? Whatever defender over the years that you knew if his team was on your schedule that you'd have to look out for
him? Through the years, I would have to say the best player that I've played against would be the cornerback at Morningside, actually, whose name is Xavier. I forget his last name, but he's a shutdown corner. You look him up, he never has anybody catch the ball on him. And he's actually going to be an upcoming senior from Morningside. I wouldn't be surprised if he got some look.
All right, we're going to have to write that name down and be on the lookout for him in the future. Again, we're chatting with the 2018 NFL Draft prospect running back Bubba Jenkins out of Morningside College here on the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. Don't forget you can check out this interview as well as much more NFL Draft material over at NFLDraftBible.com. And Bubba, I know it's always the dream for just about every college athlete to go pro in their respective sport. When did it hit you, though? When did it hit you that that this was a legit possibility, even from the smaller ranks? Whether you're playing at big time, Alabama or some of these bigger FBS programs, or you're coming from a Morningside College, the chances are still very slim. You're still in that 1% percentile. So when did it become more clear to you that you had a legit shot at furthering your playing career and possibly getting a look at playing professional football?
Yeah, well, I mean, football's always been in my life, so, ever since I could walk, I was playing football. But I have to say, when I really thought, that I could really play this game at a high level and not only, just play, but actually, be dominant, was probably my sophomore season at SBU. 1,300 yards and, 20-something touchdowns that year. And, I really saw myself, really coming into my own game. And, really thinking, okay, I could play this game. I'm pretty good at it. If I keep working, I know, not only then, I knew I could get so much better. And I know now I'm still getting better at this. I'm still learning. So, probably by my sophomore year is when I really thought, believed and confirmed to myself that I could play this game.
How did you grow into the running back position? I mean, was this a position you've played all throughout high school, all throughout Little League? I mean, were you always a dominant running back, or was this a position thrown at you, maybe your first year at college, or was this a position that you've kind of grown into over your entire football playing career?
Well, I mean, of course, I think every little, as a kid, everybody wanted to play running back, everybody wanted to run the ball. However, in my Little League stage, I was always too big to run the ball. I was always a big kid, so I always had to play on the old line because there was like a weight limit to run the ball. And I was always over that weight limit. So I could never really run the ball or anything like that. But when I first started running the ball, I was probably about in the 5th grade when I started thinning up and I could finally run the ball. There wasn't really a weight limit. And honestly, my first carry, I took it 60 yards. And right then I was like, okay, I want to play running back. So ever since then, I played defense, I played linebacker. But I always knew, I was going to be a linebacker. I wasn't going to be tall enough for that. But so coming in more, getting older and older, I always knew I was going to be a running back.
And for those who aren't familiar with your game, Bubba, I'm going to start playing your highlights so people can kind of see more about the player that we're talking to and the player that you are and the possible future NFL player that you are. And we'll go ahead and continue going on with this interview as well while those play. As I mentioned earlier, though, Bubba, you are coming off of an opportunity where you're able to perform in front of many scouts down in Virginia Beach at the 2018 Dream Bowl. It seems like each and every year that All-Star game gets bigger and better. Again, each and every year, one of the top alums from that game, off the top of my head, is the Indianapolis Colts wide receiver out of Grambling State, Chester Rogers, who has turned into a pretty solid not only wide receiver but special teams player as well for the Indianapolis Colts. What was that overall experience like for you? And what was some of the conversations like with the NFL teams, with the NFL scouts like that you were able to have?
It was a great experience. The Dream Bowl really took care of me and the rest of the players. They really know what they're doing down there. Scouts wise, a lot of scouts, talking to them, they really want to know my background coming from a small school. So they really want to know who I am as a person, what I think about, other defenses and do I watch film and, really who I am in a person inside because, they already know what I can do on film and they already see me outside, but they really want to know how my mind works. But, other than that, it was a great experience. That being said, being at the Drew Bowl really helped me. So now I've talked to all 32 teams now. So, but, in the interviews, it's not, it's a lot of trying to see what kind of person you are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt about it. They, like you said already, I mean, they already have reviewed tons of tape on a lot of the players that they're talking to. And like you said, it's trying to get a feel of you more so as a person than anything. And, like you said, I mean, you chatted with about all 32 NFL teams. I got to think that was, that's something that any prospect is really looking for, whether it's just one team or if they're lucky enough to chat with all 32 teams like yourself. I got to think that right there makes the experience well worth it. So It sounds like it was a great experience for you down at the Dream Bowl. And now you are training down in Nashville, Tennessee at Ignition, and it's one of the nation's top facilities. You go back, and I remember talking to you a few weeks back when you told me that this was where you're going to be training at. And I remember a guy that I interviewed a few years ago, DJ Hunter, former linebacker over at Marshall, and Ignition really helped him out a lot, and he had one of the best pro days that I've ever been able to see, especially from that linebacker position. Teams viewed him more so as a safety, and now he's playing in the CFL. I don't exactly know where. I want to say I know he started his career off with Hamilton. He might be somewhere else now, but regardless, I mean, Ignition, you're training there, one of the top facilities in the country, really highly regarded. How's it going? Kind of training to be more so a track star now for your pro day. You kind of throw, and I say this as we're playing your highlights, Bubba, but you kind of throw away what you've been able to do over the past 4 years, and now teams are starting to look at what you can do more so as an athlete. How fast are you going to run a 40? How many reps are you going to hit in the bench press, and so on and so forth. How's it going training for your pro down at Ignition?
It's going so great. They really know what they're doing. When it comes to drills and everything, they're so focused on the little details of what can make you run a 4.4 to a 4.5, a 4.5 to a 4.4, or even a 4.4 to a 4.3. The focus of you jumping a 30-inch vertical to a 34-inch vertical. They're just so focused at what they do, and not only when we do those set drills, but also the workouts that we're doing. We do pull workouts, we do sauna treatment, body composition, nutrition, treatment. It's just, they take care of you down here, and it's really a blessing to be working here.
What exactly are your plans for Pro Day? I know a lot of the smaller programs don't necessarily hold their own Pro Day, but a lot of guys coming out of these smaller schools do get other opportunities to perform in some of the bigger FBS programs' Pro Days. Do you have any idea what your plans are as of now when it comes to your Pro Day?
Yes, I do. As of right now, I believe that I would be doing my Pro Day at Southeast Missouri University. The Red Hawks, I believe, and I would be so that March, and I'll be doing my pro day there.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Southeast Missouri, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that, keep tabs on you and those pro day numbers when that time comes. So just a few more questions for you, by the way, Bubba. Then we'll let you go. Really do appreciate your time again. We're chatting with 2018 NFL Draft prospect, running back out of Morningside College by way of Southwest Baptist University. He's Bubba Jenkins, and Bubba, if you had to choose one game out of your entire collegiate career, whether it was back during your time at Southwest Baptist or just this past season at Morningside, for an NFL scout to go back and check out, what game would you recommend?
I have to recommend, my recent year at when we played Saint Xavier in the playoffs. I really think I brought.
And carrying on right there, an all-around back like you are, like the. What about special teams? I mean, obviously, special teams is going to be probably a big key for you to make a team at the
Hmm.
next level, especially at the NFL level. And one guy that comes off the top of my head is Austin Eckler, the rookie running back from last year with the San Diego Chargers. Had a really good breakout year. Came from a Division II school. And not only did damage on the offensive side of the ball, but I believe he was second in the league in special teams tackles. And he's not the biggest guy, by the way. And you being, I believe your official weigh-in at the Dream Bowl was 5'10", 204. You do offer some pretty nice size at the running back position as well. And I'm sure that could work out on special teams in your favor as well. I mean, how do you look at the special teams, that side of the ball, and do you think you could have a big impact on special teams as well?
Most definitely, I have no problem at all playing special teams. I've always been good at it. The coaches never really put me on there, to not get hurt. I truly believe that I can play special teams, whether it be kickoff, punt, or kickoff, anything. I really think that I could be a very deep impact for my team when playing on special teams.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, I mean, whether it is kick return, punt return, or even a gunner,
Yeah,
I'm sure you're more than, and it sounds that way. And you said it yourself, you're more than willing to play wherever the coaching staff, wherever the team needs you to play
yeah,
at.
definitely.
Is there a current? This is a question I ask just about every prospect we have on the show, Bubba. Is there a current or former NFL player that you like to emulate or take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto your own?
Um, I've always been the most intriguing running back to me would have to be Barry Sanders. The way he just gets in and out of his cuts, how fast he was, he was running like poetry. And so, I really try to run like him. That's one of the reasons why I wore number 20 at Southwest Baptist. And then, I try to put him and I try to mix it with a little bit of Marshawn Lynch with the hit stick and everything like that, running through people with the low center of gravity. So I try to put them together and really try to run like them and try to image my game to what they did.
Hey, a couple of the greats, can't go wrong with that. Although we are in Chicago, and it would have been better if you would have mentioned, the names of, Walter Payton or
Hey, I
somebody
love
like
him.
that.
Yeah, I love Walter. That's great right there too.
But obviously you cannot go wrong with Barry Sanders or Marshawn Lynch, and just playing through your highlights, and you see some really spectacular plays out of yourself. And again, I mean, to have a legacy like that, I mean, I can't even think that's imaginable right now. I'm sure you're just worried about getting to that next level, and whatever happens, happens.
Yes,
Final
sir.
question for you, though, Bubba. Let's say we have all 32 NFL teams, their general managers, they're locked in, they're tuned in, listening to this very interview. Why should they want the running back out of Morningside College, Bubba Jenkins, a part of their organization?
Um, to, for me to be on the team, I would take that. Whoever picks me up, I would take that as a very, such a blessing. From that to take me, I'll bring everything, hard work. They won't regret, picking me up. I'll bring everything to the table, whatever they want me to do, I'll do that and then some. Like I said, I'm an all-around back. I can do it all, but I also play special teams. Wherever you want me to play, I'm gonna play that at a high level and better than anybody else would.
Hey, every year we always focus in on FCS prospects, Division II prospects, NAIA prospects, whatever. And obviously the number one thing that's going to be on the top of the list of negatives or whatever is going to be the competition level that you've played against. I mean, having that small school label How do you think, or how do you look at that being looked at when teams are kind of looking at you and kind of seeing that, oh, he's from an NAIA program, oh, he played at Division II, and they see that as a negative? I mean, how do you kind of look at that?
That doesn't bother me at all. I believe that I can play at all levels, and me playing, I believe I'm one of those players who, when he plays against higher competition, my game goes up, and I play even better when I'm going against higher competition. So it really doesn't affect me. It may, on the outside world, it may look like a negative, but once I get into a camp or anything like that, I'll show them that I can play at any level and I can play with whoever else is at the team, on the same field as me.
And you already proved that with an opportunity that came your way over at the Dream Bowl, playing with guys from the Division I level all the way down to the NAIA level as well. And Bubba, again, that's all we have for you. Really do appreciate you taking some time. Congratulations on, I think even saying a stellar career would be selling you short. But congratulations on all the success. Any final words?
No, sir. Just thank you for the and everything. Roll side.